Imagine walking deep into the rainforest, the air thick with humidity, the sound of dripping leaves and distant monkey calls filling your ears, when suddenly you feel eyes watching you, eyes that belong to a predator so silent and so deadly that by the time you realize it, it may already be too late. This is not a lion roaring in the savannah or a tiger patrolling the dense jungles of Asia. This is the jaguar, the shadow of the Americas, a killer that thrives in silence and attacks with shocking precision. And the haunting question is, how long could you survive a jaguar attack? Jungle Realms brings you face to face with the rawest truths of nature. And today we unravel a predator that has fascinated, terrified, and humbled humans for thousands of years. The jaguar is not just another big cat. It is the strongest cat pound for pound on the planet. While lions rely on teamwork and tigers on brute strength, the jaguar uses something far more terrifying, a skull-crushing bite that can pierce through the bones of its prey, even through the armored shell of turtles. Unlike most big cats that aim for the throat to suffocate their victims, the jaguar goes straight for the head, sinking its canines directly into the brain, ending life instantly. So, if you were its target, your chance to fight back would be almost non-existent. To understand survival against a jaguar, you need to first know its biology. A jaguar's jaw muscles are incredibly dense. Their bite force is nearly 1,500 pounds per square inch, more powerful than a tiger and almost double that of a lion. Its teeth are conical spears designed not just to hold flesh, but to break it, to shatter, to crush. And this is paired with a body built for ambush. Jaguars are stalkers, not sprinters. They move silently with massive padded paws that muffle sound, and their coat marked with rosettes vanishes into the forest shadows. If you were walking and one had already chosen you, chances are you wouldn't even know until the weight slammed you from behind. But let's ask, what if you did know? What if you spotted the jaguar before it struck? Could you survive? Here is where things get interesting because, unlike lions or tigers, jaguars rarely attack humans. They prefer deer, capybaras, caimans, and anything else unlucky enough to wander too close to the riverbank. But survival depends not on what they usually do, but on what they can do. And what they can do is terrifying. Jaguars can swim like otters, climb like leopards, and leap with explosive strength. Escape by water, escape by tree, escape by speed. None of it guarantees safety. You are facing a predator that is equally lethal in every dimension. So how long could you survive? Let's break it down through a speculative lens. Imagine the attack begins. The jaguar lunges in the first 5 seconds. Your instincts would kick in, fight or flight. But neither works well here. If you run, the jaguar's burst speed will close the distance before you make 10 steps. If you fight, you are up against claws that can slice open flesh like paper and jaws that can crush bone. Even with a knife or stick, striking a jaguar would only make it angrier. Unlike many predators that can be scared away with noise or aggression, jaguars are emboldened by challenge. The harder you fight, the deeper they commit. In comparison, wolves attack in packs and depend on numbers, meaning a strong human with a weapon can sometimes fight them off. Crocodiles rely on water ambush, so on land, you at least have an edge, but jaguars blur those lines. They can do both, ambush on land and drag you into water. Their ecology is uniquely brutal in the Amazon ecosystem. Jaguars are apex predators. They don't just hunt, they control their presence alone, shapes the balance of prey. Populations remove them and deer overgraze rivers, destabilize, and forests begin to collapse. This power is not just about survival of the jaguar, but survival of the entire system. Here is a secret not everyone knows. Jaguars have one of the shortest chases of any predator. Their kill strategy is built for ambush within a few meters, meaning if you can spot the jaguar early enough and back away slowly, maintaining eye contact, you might stand a chance. Jaguars rarely commit to drawn-out confrontations. They want efficiency, a quick, clean kill. So survival is not about outrunning or outmuscling. It is about not triggering the attack at all. Your best hope is avoidance. Standing tall, making yourself appear larger, slowly retreating without turning your back. Anything else almost guarantees defeat. But what if jaguars change their behavior? What if they suddenly began to see humans as prey? Imagine entire jungles where no person could safely enter villages forced to abandon rivers because jaguars patrolled the banks. Ecotourism collapsing as these cats grew bolder if they hunted in pairs or small family groups. Even armed hunters would struggle human expansion into their habitat, has already sparked conflict. But a world where jaguars treated us like deer would tilt the balance of power in ways modern humans are not prepared for. Suddenly, we would not be the apex, but the hunted, relying on walls fire and constant vigilance to hold them back. Now let's frame survival time more precisely. If a jaguar attacks unprovoked, most people would not survive longer than 30 to 60 seconds. The attack is too swift, the bite too fatal. Even professional hunters armed with rifles have been overwhelmed when surprised. But if spotted in advance, survival could stretch to minutes, even hours, as long as you maintain distance and avoid panic. The paradox of survival is this. The jaguar is both mercifully avoidant and mercilessly effective. It will likely leave you alone if you respect its space, but if you cross its line, nothing you do will stop it. Comparing to humans, our advantage is not in strength or speed, but in tools, in intelligence, with fire weapons and numbers. Humans have long dominated predators, far stronger than us, but strip away technology, leave a human alone in the rainforest with a jaguar, and suddenly we see the truth of our fragility. We are clever but soft-skinned, slow, lacking claws or fangs. And that is why myths and legends from indigenous peoples often gave jaguars divine status. Gods of the night, rulers of the underworld, forces not to be conquered but respected and perhaps feared. So the lingering question becomes not just how long you could survive, but what survival even means. In the face of such a predator, do you measure it in seconds of resistance, in minutes of escape, or in the wisdom to never step into its shadow? Jaguars embody a paradox. They are one of the most dangerous animals alive yet, one of the least likely to hunt humans. They are both a nightmare and a guardian of the forest. To survive them is less about muscles and more about respect. And the ultimate irony is this. The best way to survive a jaguar attack is never to make it happen at all. But if fate ever placed you in that moment, your survival would be counted not in hours or even minutes, but in fleeting heartbeats as the jungle's silent shadow closed in. And that is the paradox of the jaguar, the predator that almost never hunts us. But if it ever did, the battle would already be over before you even knew it had begun. And in that realization, in that fragile truth lies the most haunting survival lesson of them all.